Hey guys, wanted to jump on here, right? So I'm about to head off to a networking event, but I definitely wanted to look. I was having a chat. So how this actually came in, I was having a chat with one of my mentors, and I was like, I was talking about like, I've worked with 500 businesses, and I'd say about 75% of them got the result I was looking for with them, which is, you know what? My minimum result that I want to give is 100% return. So $2 for every $1 you put in, I'm going to give you back. So 100% return. I'd say about 75% of my clients get that, but that wasn't really good enough for me because the remaining either just got their investment back, meaning they made as much as they spent, or they didn't at all. And I was like, what is the difference? Honestly, what is the difference between the 75% that are getting the result I'm looking for and the ones that don't? Like, am I just failing the ones that don't? And my mentor actually asked me to really look, and he's like, choose 5 examples from the 75% and choose 5 examples from the ones that don't get it at all, like the ones that just don't make any money. And I was like, okay. And he was like, so what's the difference between the two? And it wasn't companies, because I could see the types of businesses across both platforms. So it definitely wasn't that. It wasn't anything that I could visually look at, right? It wasn't gender, it wasn't background, it wasn't any of that stuff, right? So I was sitting there going, what is the difference? And then it occurred to me, it was like the ones that got it, right? They had an absolute belief in their business. In terms of their belief in their business, it was probably greater than my belief in the business. I had a great belief in them as a leader and their ability to actually pull this off, but they really believed in what it was they were doing, who they were helping, what they were, going through. They really, really believed in that. The second thing I would say was 100% commitment, right? They were 100% committed. They never argued with me. Like if I said to do something, they were like, oh, do you think that would work here? I'm not sure that would work. They just did it. They were like, let's get it done. Let's try it. Let's find out, right? They got in there. They were like, we'll do it first, we'll measure it, and we'll find it that way. Whereas everybody else is trying to work out what it would look like in the future before they'd even taken the first step. And so the big difference between the ones that made it and didn't make it was this idea of belief and commitment. And I'm telling you, if there's a secret sauce, and there isn't, that's it. And I was like, okay, so let's look at the 25%. Were they saying they weren't committed? No, they were saying they were committed. And I'm like, were they saying they didn't believe in what they did? No, they told me they believed. So how do I know they didn't? I'm like, it was this conversation that I was having around this thing called imposter syndrome. Right? And my argument always, when somebody says, oh, I have imposter syndrome, is like, man, we all have imposter syndrome. Like everybody has imposter syndrome, right? And I got really thinking about it the other day, and I'm like, for some people, this imposter syndrome thing is this big hindrance to them being able to do what they do. And for other people, like for instance, I face imposter syndrome, but it's this like superpower I have. And I think the big difference between me and or somebody that's actually using it as a superpower is the fact that when I hear the imposter syndrome, it's just a message to my brain going, you give a shit, right? You actually care, right? You can't have imposter syndrome if you don't care. You can't. It doesn't work, right? So the only things you have imposter syndrome on are stuff you actually care about. So if you care about your client, if you care about what it is you do, you have to lean into that. You have to, this is what we say when we say lean into your greatness. You have to lean into what makes you great. Imposter syndrome is because you care enough, which means you'll be great, right? If there's a problem you solve or a person you love helping, or there's a process you have that's valuable to other people, lean into it. That is your greatness. And you have to figure out what that is. And you have to actually know it's great. Because you're going to take this and you're going to start showing up every day. You're going to do the reels. You're going to do the content. You're going to go out and meet people. You're going to send the emails. You're going to do the reach outs. You're going to jump on the webinars. You're going to, go make those connections. You're going to go find those partnerships, those people that can introduce you to your ideal client. You're going to do all of that because you have this absolute belief in what you do, right? And yeah, the whole time you're going to have this little shadow in the back of your mind that is going, you're not ready yet, which is true. I'm not ready. I'm not doing what I achieved to do. I haven't got that vision. That's why it's a vision, right? I am an imposter to that vision right now, but I won't be because I'm willing to go out and do the work because I give a shit because it matters to me, right? That's what I want to get for you guys. If you want help figuring out what that is, if you want help getting over that, reach out. I'm here. I battled it myself. I know what you're going through. All right? With all love, I'll talk to you guys soon.